I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music. We are going to do the new album from Danger Mouse today. We're going to review it. That's what we do here. We review albums. And it's called Rome. Danger Mouse and Danielle, how do you say his last name?
Luppi?
I apologize. We're from Iowa, guys. We're probably killing it. This album, it's Danger Mouse. You know Danger Mouse. He's everywhere doing everything right now. The guy is a master producer. He's a wizard in the studio. He makes everything sound good. He makes poop look fantastic, like chocolate mousse pie. I said poop. I can't say that. Oh.
People get offended, Jake.
People get offended when you say the P word. But this album features Jack White and Norah Jones. They're all over this. They have I think an equal number of tracks, not maybe 3 or 4
pretty
each.
even, yeah.
But this is a 15-track album. But you'll notice after you listen to it the first time that it's actually quite short. It's a short release. It's like 35, 36 minutes long, and it flies by. And it's a really nice album listen. The first thing I noticed about this, it's supposed to be kind of a spaghetti. It's supposed to be kind of like a soundtrack to a spaghetti western. Is the take that these guys went into it, and there's a lot of those themes to it, and it does play like a soundtrack, and it's very much an album feel. I can put it on and listen to it straight through, and have a good experience listening to it. But that's really just me. Tom, what were your thoughts?
Well, I want to expand a little bit on this whole soundtrack idea, because you have Norah Jones and Jack White, and they are the prominent guest artists on this album. Just doing vocals, however. And to me, that's like the movie The Tourist with Johnny Depp and Angelina Jolie.
I hated that movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you take a crappy film and you say, well, how do we actually get people to go to this movie?
We'll put the mega hot Angelina Jolie and the mega...
I feel like, this album's not terrible by any means, but I feel like what they did is they took a decent but kind of bland and honestly I felt underdeveloped idea, and they took two huge stars, and put it in there so it would spark interest and create hype. Because you see, think about a frickin' movie poster or something where it's Danger Mouse, Norah Jones, Jack White, come see Rome, and that's pretty much what it is.
No, and that's the picture that I saw the first time on NPR where I started listening to this album. They had the picture. They had Danger Mouse, Daniele Luppi, and then Norah Jones and Jack White, and that's what it was. It looked just like a movie poster.
Yeah.
And to expand on that even a little further, Tom, I counted, I think that there's, 7, maybe 8 songs here with vocals, and they're all very short, they're all very similar, and they're well-written, well-focused pop tunes that have a verse, a chorus, maybe an intro and an outro, and then they just cut off. They all just end, they don't linger, they don't do anything crazy, they're very calm, they never are flamboyant in any way. The vocalists both do a great job, and they should, because they're experts in their fields, and that's just it. But the rest of the album, it's like they just had, here's some subpar material and subpar songwriting, and then Danger Mouse and Daniele Luppi just spruced it up and made this 35-minute album out of it. And I like the fact that they're taking less and making it more. That's definitely an attribute as a musician and as an album and writer and artist in 2011.
And it's something Danger Mouse is a master of now.
Danger Mouse is the master of taking a certain sound and making it sound really good in that Danger Mouse sort of way. But he can only, it's kind of like garbage in, garbage out sort of thing. I'm not saying that this is garbage, but he can only do so much with it without the inherent talent of songwriting underneath it. And the fact is that there's just not a lot of content on this album. There's a lot of bells and whistles, there's a lot of interludes, there's even a lot of instrumental tracks which actually are quite good, but it just doesn't, as an album, have enough solid content there to really drive it.
Exactly. You won't listen to a track on here, even one of the shorter interludes, and say, this sucks.
Yeah, no.
But when you put it all together, it's just so underwhelming. In 2011, when all these brilliant albums are coming out, and then you have this, and it's just kind of like, bloop, and it's, why should you care as much? I don't know. It's an interesting idea that I just feel like they didn't flesh out enough.
And even if it's supposed to be and was designed to be like the spaghetti western type soundtrack, even in a movie, if you're going to have some sort of climactic point at the end of the movie, and I feel like the album should have reflected that. When I get through track 15, The World, I don't feel like this album accomplished anything. I feel like it's missing something. I don't feel like it's there yet, and that's disappointing to me. That I like a lot of the sounds in this album. I will probably come back to this from time to time, but just the general fact that it's just not very much content here brings me down to a 62.
I'm gonna meet you there, 62.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people out there are liking this album, so leave us a comment if you were one of those at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and let us know what your guys' thoughts were. We didn't like this album as much as you. That's fine. Leave us a comment. We'd love to get a discussion going. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.
Never seemed to bother me, only just recently.